All right, so let's start this evening in a comfortable seat. And you can close your eyes and just feel the weight of your feet on your blanket or the floor. And feel the weight of your legs. And feel the soles of your feet. And then out of the bowl of your pelvis, take a breath in and lengthen your spine up towards the sky. So feeling connected to the earth and yet open to the vast openness of the sky. And then somewhere in the middle of that, find your breath, bring your attention towards your breath. And just observing lovingly, just observing your inhale and your exhale. With loving kindness and curiosity about your breath. Just start to turn your awareness to your breath, just noticing the length of your inhale, the length of your exhale. How does your breath feel tonight? Where does it begin? Where does the inhale begin? Where does the inhale end? Where does the exhale begin and where does the exhale end? And can you notice the pause at the end of the inhale and at the end of the exhale? And as you begin to notice your breath, does it feel like the breath starts to lengthen a bit? Does it feel like you might want to take a deeper breath? Or does it feel the same? And then as you are ready, let's slowly start to open our eyes. And you can interlace your fingers and press your palms out. And then breathe in and reach your arms up. And keep rooting down into your seat. And as you breathe in, lift up the sides of the chest. Press up through the base of the index finger. And expand your breath. Bend the elbows. You can bring your arms back down. And then we'll switch sides. Take the opposite index finger in front. Press your hands out. Take a breath in, reach your arms up. And you can start to breathe into the sides of your chest again. Pressing up to the base of the index finger. Gently take the sides of your neck towards the back plane of your body, so the throat opens. And then you can bend your elbows and we'll bring the arms back down. Okay, please come off your sticky mat and we'll come to hands and knees on your mat. And have your blocks, bring your blocks with you to the front of your mat. And you can come onto all fours. And we'll start with cat and cow with a little lion's breath. So on your inhale, we'll round the back. And then on your exhale, you can arch your back and you can do the lion's breath, tongue out, eyes up. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Inhale, rounding. And then one more lion's breath. Let's take the knees apart, bring your feet together. You can sit your hips towards your heels. Just let your forearms drop to the floor. And drop back into the awareness of your breath again, but this time lengthen out your breath intentionally. So let the inhales and exhales be even. And then we'll come up to hands and knees. And let's start to claw the floor with your hands. So pressing your finger pads and your thumbs down. Start to claw the floor like a lion. And then we'll inhale and lift the hips up and press back into downward dog. Okay, take a breath in. We'll bend the knees, shins parallel to the floor. And then exhale, you can straighten your legs. Lift your sitting bones. One more time, inhale, bend both knees so the shins are parallel to the floor. And then exhale, straighten your legs, press your thighs back. Inhale, bending knees. Exhale, straighten the legs. Come forward to a plank so you can come and do a high push-up. And then we'll take the knees to the floor and then you can just lower down onto your belly. And let's come up onto the forearms. You can point your toes back behind you. And just soften your upper back down between your shoulder blades a little. Activating your feet, press your feet into the floor so you feel your legs engage. Then pull the belly forward away from the hips by dragging your elbows back towards your hips. Pull your belly forward. And then exhale, you can lower back down to the ground. Curl the toes under. Inhale, we're going to lift the hips up again. And then take the knees apart one more time. Sit your hips back. This time, come up onto the finger pads. We'll release the shoulders. So keeping the underarms lifting up, then lower your head towards the ground. And then you can come up to hands and knees. Okay, let's take the blocks. So have your block on either side of your sticky mat, and then you can take your right foot forward between your hands. Keep the back toes curled under. You can keep your arms straight. And then pressing into your left heel, just reach your right knee forward. And lift up through the crown of your head. If it feels better to have your blocks up higher, you could do higher blocks. So just find the place that feels good for you. Keep your throat drawing back so the throat's open. And then let's shift the hips back over the left knee. This time you can walk the blocks up onto the highest point. And then just start to pull your heel back toward your hip. So you feel your hamstring here on the right side get longer. If it feels good to walk your hands forward a little bit more, you could do that. Okay, let's bend the right knee. And then you can step back again into downward dog. So let's take the right foot back. Breathing here. Nice slow breath to unwind from the day. And second side, take your left foot forward between your hands. Let's just come up on the highest edge of the block. That's a good plan. So come up onto the highest edge of the block. Back toes are curled under. And press through that right heel and then stretch to the front knee. And then just keep lifting your spine up out of the weight of your legs and your pelvis. And take your throat back a little bit. Notice what's happening to your breath pattern. Good. And then we'll shift the hips back over the right knee. You can straighten your left leg. And then we'll walk the hands forward a little bit. Keep dragging your left heel back toward your hip. Deepening your breath. If you have any lower back issues, you could always bend your left knee a little bit, and then really make sure you have your lumbar curve. So arch your back and then straighten your leg. Actually, everybody, let's do that. It feels really good. Bend your left knee just a bit. Then arch your back a little bit. So lift your sitting bones, make your lumbar spine go in, and then keeping that, then re-extend your leg. You get a nice hamstring stretch. Okay, let's bend the left knee and step your left foot back. Take your blocks to the side again, and then let's go back up into our downward facing dog. So lifting the heels up away from the floor, engage your quads, and then press your thighs back, and then re-extend your heels back down towards the ground. You can just let your head dangle for this one today. Just release your neck and your jaw. All right, and then let's take the right knee towards your right wrist, and we'll come into pigeon pose, and you can walk your left leg back. And I like to use a block for the head. Then you can fold forward over your right leg, and you can rest your head on the block. Keep releasing any tension around your right hip. All right, slide that block away from your head. Take your hands to the floor, curl your left toes under, and then let's pull back through the belly, back into downward dog. Second side, take your left knee towards your left wrist. The left heel comes into the right hip crease. Walk your right leg back. Come into pigeon. You can point your right toes back. Now breathe in here and then exhale, fold forward over the left leg. And again, you can rest your forehead on the block so you can really start to rest your head. Listening to the sound of your breath. All right, and then let's slide one more time back into downward dog. Curl the right toes under, pull back through your belly, and press back into dog. All right, let's take the knees to the floor. And then you can sit your hips back, and we're going to come into Virasana. So you can just sit back onto your block. So the feet are going to come a little wide. You can bring your knees together. And then we're going to stretch the quads. So just walk your hands back behind you. You can point your fingers forward. Lift your hips up a little bit. Lengthen the tailbone forward. And just gently stretch the quads. And take your head back, but like so your neck is in line with the rest of your spine. You press your hands down, you can lift your chest. Baby back bend. Good, let's walk the hands back forward. And then we'll come off the block. And now let's do a little shoulder opener for the chest. So take the block, one block for your shoulder blades, and then the other block can be for your head. So we can do both horizontal to the mat. Just realize you can't see my blocks very well with this mat. They don't contrast. So they're both horizontal. And then you can stretch your legs out in front and you're gonna lay back. So the block, one block is under the shoulder blades and the other one can support your head. And then you can take your arms out to the side. Might need to adjust your block if it feels crooked in any way. So here, just feel the opening of the front of the chest, the pectoralis muscles. This is a great counter pose if you're at computers all day. Observing the last few breaths before we come out of your pose. You can take your hands to come out. You can take your hands to the floor, tuck your chin towards your chest, and then press your hands down to come up. And then let's come to sitting again. So coming, take your blanket and we'll fold it into a square. And you can sit on the corner of your blanket. I'm going to start with Baddha Konasana. So bring the bottoms of your feet together and your knees can come out to the side. Lean forward and move your sitting bones back a little bit behind you. And then from your groins, we're going to stretch out through the knees. Lengthen your spine, draw the lower back in and up, and you can take the sides of your neck back so your head isn't going forward in front of your heart. Take your throat back so your head's over your heart. And just feel into your breath again. Keep lengthening from the groins and the outer hips out into the knees. Okay, very good. Grab the outside of the knees. We're going to bring the knees together and then come into Ardha Matsyendrasana. So take the left knee under the right, and then the right knee can go. You can either have the right foot on the inside of your left knee, or you could have it on the outside. Lean forward. Try to get those sitting bones back, and then just hold around your knee. Pull your toes back towards your knees, and then that starts to engage the shins in, and then see if you can widen the sitting bones apart. And take your left hand behind you and either wrap your elbow around your knee, or you can take your elbow on the outside. We're going to breathe in here, lift up, and then exhale and rotate and twist. You can look over your right shoulder if your neck turns. And then we'll come back to the middle. Okay, let's do the second side. So take your right leg under your left, and then either keep your foot here, or you can cross it over. Lean forward, move the sitting bones back. And we're going to start the twist. So take your elbow around your knee or on the outside. Breathe in, inhale, and then exhale. Just gently twist right to left. If your neck turns, you can look over your left shoulder. And then inhale and come on back to the center. Okay, stretch your legs out now and turn. You can bend your knees. Let's turn the blanket so that you're sitting on the edge of the long edge of the blanket. And then you can take your right leg out, and we'll fold the left leg back into Janu Shirshasana. So left knee is in like the Baddha Konasana shape. Right leg is straight. Breathe in here. Take a breath in. Lift your left arm. And then exhale, hinge forward over your left leg. Try to keep your lower back in and up. You could take your hand to the outside of your foot. Take your right, or the outside of your shin, and then just use your right hand as a little anchor on the outside of your right shin to press into, so you can turn your waist to the right more. And then just breathe. Keep spreading your toes so the skin on the sole of your foot is spreading out. That helps to tone your leg a little bit up into the hip. Then re-extend your spine, draw your lower back in and up. Rotate your torso a little to the right, and then fold over your knee. Okay, to come out of the pose, extend through the crown of your head and then inhale and come up. Second side, we'll fold the right leg back. And you can extend the left leg out. Take your left hand outside your hip. You can breathe in, reach your right arm up, inhale, exhale, hinge forward over your left leg. You can take your hand to your foot. Left hand can be outside your left shin. And then using your left hand as an anchor, press into it to pull your left sideways back a little bit and rotate your right waist forward. Extending and breathing. And then inhale and come on back up. Extend the right leg out in front. And then we'll shift off the blanket and you can lie down on your mat and bring your belt with you and have your block nearby. If you have two blocks, you could put one on either side of your legs, your thighs. Okay, so let's start with Vipariti. So go ahead and take your legs straight up. Now we'll do a reclined forward bend. The strap is just above the heels. Okay, spread the skin on the, spread your toes, spread the skin on the bottoms of your feet. Feel your quads engage and then press your thighs forward away from your belly. Let your shoulders relax towards the floor so you're not rounding your shoulders forward. And then from here, we'll take the legs into a wide-legged pose. So spread the toes again and really spread the skin out on the bottoms of your feet and press through your heels, really reach to the heels. When you do that, feel your quads engage and your hamstrings stretch. Feel the lungs broadening in your back body, chest broad. Relax your throat, let your throat widen. All right, please bring your legs back together again. And now just keep the belt around the right heel and we're gonna stretch the left leg to the floor. Supta Padangustasana. Relax your shoulders to the floor again. Keep pressing the thigh bones towards the hamstring. Press to the heel. Okay, adjust your block. We're going to take the block out to the side. You can angle it a little bit towards your leg. We're going to take the leg out to the side. You can angle the block to rest on your thigh a little, just above the knee. Rotate the left side of your navel back towards the floor. Keep the left hip grounded. Slowing down the breath, slowing down your mind. All right, bring your right leg back up to center. And now you can take your block to the other side. We're going to come into a twist. You can shift your hips to the right, and then you can roll onto your left hip. And you can rest the block just below the right shin. Make sure you stack your hips, so stack the right hip on top of the left. To give yourself an adjustment, you can put your thumb in your right hip crease and your fingertips on the outside, and then roll your right outer hip down away from your belly. And then twist your chest to the right. Moving with your breath. As your head starts to turn, because your neck turns. All right, take your right hand back to the strap. And then we'll take the right leg straight up. And then you can rest back to the floor. Take both legs back to the floor and just come into a neutral shape. Observe the pattern of the breath now to see what you notice after 40 minutes of yoga. Okay, second side, take the strap above the heel of the left foot. Keep your right leg pressing into the floor. Make an effort to press both thigh bones towards the hamstring muscles. Press to the heel. Again, relax your shoulders back into the floor so arms are straight. The head of the arm bones are released back into the ground. Okay, take the straps into the left hand. You can have the block on the outside of the left leg, and then just angle the block so the outside of your thigh can rest on the block. You can take your right arm out to the side. You're gonna press through the heels again. Reach through the heels. Rotate the right side of your navel to the right. Reach to the fingertips. Slow the breath down. Okay, inhale, bring your left leg up. And then you can take your block on the outside of to the right. Shift your hips back a little bit and roll all the way onto your outer right hip. So I like to go all the way onto my side first. Make sure I'm on my side. Then you can take your thumb into your left hip crease, your fingertips outside, and then just roll the outer hip down away from the belly and start to rotate your belly chest to the left. Taking your time, listening to your body, honoring your shape. Maybe your head starts to turn because your neck starts to turn. And then inhale, we'll come back, grab a hold of the strap. With your left hand, take your leg up, come back down, and then you can just rest again and just feel again your breath. Bring your awareness back to the breath, back to your sensation. Okay, let's do one more twisting pose. So take your arms out to the side. You can bring your knees up over your hips. And then flex the feet again, spread your toes, and then take your knees to the right. So the knees are going to go up towards your chest. You can take your right hand on the outside of your left knee, and then we're going to twist again, then towards the belly chest to the left. Supporting our digestive system this way. Okay, we'll come back up. Inhale, come back up to the middle. And then let's do the same thing on the other side. So flex your feet again. Take your knees to the left, knees a little bit up towards your chest. And then you can twist to the right, left hand on the outside of the right knee. Great, and then inhale back to center. Okay, let's take the knees towards your chest. And then let's start to just move the knees around in little circles to massage your sacrum now. And then you can go the other way. All right, and then let's roll to the side. You press your hand into the floor, come on up. And then hopefully you have a wall that you can, we're gonna do legs up the wall. So hopefully you have a wall. If you don't, you can put your legs up on a chair or the couch. And we're gonna take a blanket or a bolster. If you have a bolster, you could use your bolster. And you can take it to the wall, a couple inches away from the wall. And then I like to just sit kind of right at the edge of the blanket with the hip. Try to get your hip all the way to the wall. And then you can take your legs up the wall. Ideally, you want to I have this little heater here that gets in the way, but you could press your thigh bones go all the way against the wall. That's ideal. And then you can use your hands and just rotate the thighs in. So turn the thighs in. Adjust your blanket as you need it so that it's, right underneath your sacrum. And then we could do our arms, and if it's comfortable, you could do your arms into a cactus position. So you just bend your elbows, your palms face up. Relax, soften your eyelids. And feel the weight of your legs really sinking down into your hips. And then feel the weight of your hips sinking into the blanket. And let your belly relax like a still lake, a reservoir. Can you feel the pulses in your body? Keep softening all the skin on your face. Noticing your thoughts and letting them go. If you notice that you're thinking, just bring your awareness back to your breath. But to come out of legs up the wall, go ahead and walk your feet down the wall so your feet are hip distance apart. And you're in a little bit of a squat here. And then let's bring the bottoms of the feet together and let your knees come apart for Baddha Konasana again. Taking your hands to the outside of the knees, you can bring your knees back together. And then you can roll to your side. You can press your hand into the floor and then and then you can come up. And then let's set up for Shavasana with a nice rolled up blanket under the knees. Just feel supported. And then if you want to give yourself extra support too, you could put one under your head. And of course, if you're cold, you could cover with a blanket. And if you have an eye pillow or anything to cover up your eyes, that's also a great way to move into the rest of your sleepy evening. So go ahead and rest in Shavasana, putting your legs on the blanket and your head on the floor of the bolster. So really feeling the back of your body against the floor now, feeling the front of your body just releasing into the back of your body. Feel the weight of your heels. Relax the back of your calves and the back of your thighs, your hamstrings. Feel the flesh of your bottom spread out onto the floor. Let the reservoir of your belly soften. And then feel your kidneys that are just kind of in your lower back area. Just let those, imagine that they're just softening, spreading out into the floor. Allow your back to widen and broaden, your upper back and your neck and the back of your skull. Soften the skin on your forehead and your eyelids again. Relax the inside of your ears. Let the weight of your eyeballs release into the back of your head. Release the root of your tongue. Just savoring the last few breaths of Shavasana. You can start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bending your knees one by one. Take your knees towards your chest. And roll to your right side. You can use your right hand as a pillow, right arm as a pillow. And then slowly find your way up into a comfortable seat. And we'll sit for a couple of minutes, continuing to observe the breath. So that practice is dhyana in yoga, where we just focus our attention on one thing. Maybe you feel your breath in your heart or through your nose. And just bring your awareness and focus on the breath. And inevitably, you will start thinking again. So just turn your awareness back to your breath. And then let's take our hands into our heart. And you can bow your head towards your heart. May our heart and our head be aligned and in union with our body. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you. That was great.
Good.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for coming, Peggy. Yes, you guys.
All right.
Bye. See you. I see you in the dark, and then I see you in the light.